Hi, I'm Bert Finger, Gallery Director of Photographs Do Not Bend Gallery, and today we're going to discuss an exhibition that we currently have on our walls called Bauhaus in Texas. I want to talk to you about the influence of the Bauhaus that originated in Germany, eventually wound up in Chicago, and how it influenced artists in Texas. The Bauhaus was founded in Dessau, Germany in 1918 by Walter Gropius. It lasted until 1933 when the German invasion of Europe began. I principally want to talk about the two artists that were mainstream in influencing our Texas artists. György Kepes, who taught design and photography and painting at the new Bauhaus in Chicago, and Maholy-Nagy, who we don't have an example of, but he was an associate of György Kepes, and Maholy-Nagy was actually the director of the new Bauhaus. Okay, so let's talk about the creative process in photography that the Bauhaus had a big influence over. We had photograms, we had paper negatives, we had reticulation, we had manipulation of negatives. It was a whole new way of doing photography. Maholy-Nagy came here in 1942, spent a summer, and then 2 years later, György Kepes came to University of North Texas in Denton, Texas. There he taught for a whole year, was a major influence on Carlotta Corpron, whose work is widely showed throughout the world, and went on to influence many of her students. Two of those students were Barbara Maples and Eiser Lansky. And that's what the focus of the exhibition is on. So let's discuss both of those artists. Okay, so let's talk about Barbara Maples. Barbara was principally known as a printmaker. She taught art at the Dallas Independent School District. She taught at the Dallas Museum of Art, and she also was a professor at SMU. Her work is very much related to Maholy-Nagy, Kepes, and Carlotta. She studied with Carlotta on weekends. She wasn't really a formal student of hers. She didn't take a course, but they were friends. So she was able to pick up some of the fundamentals of Bauhaus photography from Carlotta. And the fundamentals were non-objective photography, cameraless photography, making these wonderful photograms in the manner of Maholy-Nagy, and of course the design work. She went on to become very prominent as a printmaker, and her work can be found at the Dallas Museum. About 20 years ago, we came upon the work of Eiser Lansky and was fortunate enough to acquire the estate. And I want to say her work is brilliant. She was a nurse before she became a photographer. She studied at Texas Women's University with Carlotta. And basically, if you look at her work, you see all the wonderful aspects of Bauhaus photography. She was extremely creative. She used pieces of puzzles to create different light abstractions. She used, you can look at one of Maholy-Nagy's photograms and look at this, and you probably couldn't tell the difference, and this is as good as any of his photographs. She was extremely creative. She went on to have shows in San Francisco, and the last show she had was in Dallas at the Black Tulip Gallery. Her career in photography was short-lived. She eventually became a librarian, and her work lives on with us. Recently, both Barbara Maples and Eiser Lansky have been included in shows at the Pompidou Museum and the museum at the Guggenheim at Bilbao. So their work has achieved a level of excellence and creativity. So as you can see, the thread from Dessau to Chicago to the two universities in Denton, Texas is quite amazing. And when you look back at this, I think it's a very historical endeavor in photography. I want to thank you for spending some time with us at PDNB Gallery and listening to a small talk about the Bauhaus in Texas. The exhibition will be up until April 2nd, and please come by and visit with us. Thank you.